The Tenant Info option enables you to view and edit unit address and mailing address information. Dates of completed actions, monthly charges, and other tenant information will be displayed as well. The tenant info is not available if the selected individual is only an applicant and not yet a tenant. To access this option, go to the applicant menu and select the applicant tenant file, then pull up the account of an existing tenant and select Tenant Info from the applicant tenant file screen. In the main screen, we can see the tenant's account number, unit and mailing addresses, caseworker, contract number, and their move-in and move-out dates. Also, under certification actions, we can see all of the research that have been performed for the current tenant with tenant rent, contract rent, and HAP and ERP amounts displayed, as well as when their next annual recertification is due. At the bottom of the tenant info screen, we have options to edit our tenant's information, adjust the required deposit amounts, set up other recurring monthly charges, run a ledger history report, enter notes, travel directly to the tenant's ledger, and finally set up a loan if they apply to the current housing program. If you need to use an option in Tenant Info and the button is grayed out, please call HDS Win support at 608-786-2366 and one of our technicians will be able to configure that option for the specified housing program. To edit the selected tenant's info, select Edit. Here we can edit our tenant's mailing address and select whether or not to use the same address for all active accounts in the case that they are also participating in another housing program. And we also have the option to use this mailing address for any waiting list correspondence as well. By selecting the vendor checkbox, you will ensure that this tenant will be filtered out of the list when running a balance due report or posting late fees to all your past due tenants. The user running the late fee report each month can choose to override this by including auto pay tenants in the balance due report filters. You can also assign this tenant to a particular caseworker by selecting the desired HDS Win user in the drop-down box. This will allow users to run the ad hoc tenant report and filter it in Excel by caseworker. We can also enter a contract number as well as change the tenant's unit sequence number. Housing authorities who have purchased our ACH payment module can mark tenants as direct deposit tenants in the box at the bottom of the screen. To set up a tenant for direct deposit, simply click the direct deposit checkbox and enter in their routing and account numbers and then specify the account type. Please note that marking a tenant as pre-notification will prevent you from using them for ACH until you finish the pre-notification process. After the initial pre-notification batch is sent, there is usually no reason that a tenant should be marked as pre-notification. When finished in the Tenant Info edit screen, you can choose to save or cancel any of the changes you may have made in Tenant Info. By selecting Required Deposit, you can enter in the tenant's deposit amounts. You'll want to enter the amount actually required by the lease and not the amount that was actually paid. If you would like to add another deposit to this screen, please contact HDS Win support at 608-786-2366. Also, you can access the tenant accounting module for that particular tenant by selecting Tenant Accounting. Here we can post adjustments and take receipts as normal. This is especially useful when you want to look at the tenant's ledger immediately after working on something in the applicant tenant file, such as setting up a loan or after having just performed an annual recert. You can also run the ledger history report from Tenant Info by selecting Ledger Report. The other charges and loan setup options will be covered in separate videos.